Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ask Matt Lloyd. Today I'm actually in Thailand. I'm in Phuket, Thailand. I've actually never been here before. I've been to Bangkok, but I got here a couple days ago. Again, looking at resorts for a future mastermind, and tomorrow I'm actually going to Vietnam to look at some more resorts. So I wanted to answer a question here on the road, and today's question comes in from Rick Slava. Rick has asked, is it an option to become an affiliate with a business partner or a spouse? Okay, and I wanted to answer this question because it's a very good question. Let's broaden this question to what do I think of partnerships, because I could address it as a mob affiliate, but I'm going to talk about it in general terms. Should you form a partnership in your business? Should you partner with other people in your company? And here's my answer. If we are talking about equity, okay, if we're talking about you sharing the equity of your company with someone else, 99% of the time, I think that is a very bad idea. And I would stay wide away from doing partnerships. I've always been very averse to doing any sort of equity partnership. Now with Mob, with all the affiliates we have, I think of our affiliates as partners. I mean, I call them partners or affiliate partners, but they're not equity partners as far as the company goes. Okay, so when it comes to actually sharing equity, I'm incredibly careful about who I would ever consider doing that with, and right now I'm definitely not open to doing that, and I don't see myself doing that in the near future, and I'll tell you why. For every 100 partnerships that you show me in business, easily over 90% of them will usually fall apart. Okay, now that might not be straight away, it might not be in the first year, it might not be in the second year, but eventually what happens is when you have too many people steering the ship or wanting to steer the ship, at some point they want to go in different directions, and that just about always happens. For every successful business partnership that you can show me, I can easily show you 100 that weren't successful. I can think of a few that have been successful. For example, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger in Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, so these guys have been business partners in running that company for a long time. Part of what makes a partnership like that successful is you have the two personalities that, although they're very different, they fit well together. Okay, what you don't want to have in a partnership is two very, say, opinionated people who both like to control things, because they're going to butt heads and they're going to have disagreements, and that's not going to work. So in the case of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, you've got the right personalities working together. They both know what the other's roles and responsibilities are. That's very clearly defined. So a partnership like that can work out. However, for the most part, most partnerships, especially in online internet marketing, most of them don't work out. Okay, and just about every single one of them that you and I know about, a lot of them, especially recently, have fallen apart. I can name several of our competitors right now, okay, in a very similar space to where Mob is, who at one point in time were being run by two people or three people, and literally just about every single one of them, they're now no longer being run like that. They had disagreements. One or two of the partners left, and they're still going, but yeah, it's not something that I personally like. So my advice is, don't go into a partnership. Don't do it unless you absolutely have to. Okay? If you're going to go into a partnership, here is my advice. Number one, get everything in very detailed writing. That's the first thing. Not just in writing, but in extremely detailed writing. And when you put everything in writing, also include in that what happens if this agreement or this partnership at some point in the future falls apart. Okay, what happens if we decide to go in different directions? Who gets what? What's going to happen? That all needs to be in writing as well. Both parties need to read it. Ideally, have a lawyer check it over and make sure that every little detail is spelled out. Go over the top on the details. I cannot stress how important that is, because the few times that I have done not equity partnerships, but percentage shares in terms of revenue and things like that, I have done it a very few times on a very limited basis. just about every single time, that the lesson I've learned over and over again is I should have been a lot more detailed in that written contract. I did have one fall apart last year that really wasn't working out. Person involved, we went in different directions. They were doing things that I didn't really like, and we ended up ending that partnership. Well, it turned quite sour, and even though we had things in writing, and I thought they were detailed at the time, in hindsight, they could have been a lot more detailed. And if I could do that over again, I definitely would have had a lawyer really strongly look it over. Okay, so my advice is stay away from partnerships. If you're talking about doing it with a spouse, which the original question was, let's say you're talking about doing a business like Mobe with a spouse. That, on the other hand, that might be a little bit different. If it's your spouse, and let's say you already have bank accounts together and things like that, you maybe have kids and so on, that's probably a little bit different. That I'd be much more open to doing something like that. The plus side of that is that you have two faces to the business, and one of them might resonate with a particular segment of your audience, and the other resonates with another segment. So that's the big plus with that, especially husband-wife couples as well. They can definitely make a very strong team when it comes to presenting a business like Mobe to the public. Okay, but in general, as far as splitting equity, if you're going to do it, just get everything in writing. Be very clear about who's responsible for what, who gets what rewards. Just recently, I had someone who wanted to partner with me on a particular division of Mobe. They sent me over a proposal, and straight away I knew that no, this is not even remotely detailed enough. So I took it from half a page, which it was, and turned it into maybe 3 pages, which probably still wasn't detailed enough. But I wrote down all the little details, including here's what will happen if we decide to part ways in the future. Here's what you can get, here's what I get, and we both signed this. So going into this partnership, we both know exactly how it's going to work. Okay, so Rick, hopefully that answers your question, and I will see you in the next episode. Speak soon.